that. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I'm really excited to tap into the Galactic Children energy, the prismatic energy is all over the field. It kind of has been, but it feels like it's ramping up a little bit. So that's been really interesting to witness. Um, there's been a lot of like accountability and um, clarity in the field in terms of just like addressing different parts, different pieces, different soul aspects, and just like really seeing and sensing and feeling that harmonization energy coming through. I know that we talk about it, we harmonize a lot kind of in the astral and in the quantum, and sometimes that takes a little bit of time to see it manifest in the 3D physical reality, but I'm starting to see that um, like calibration enter deeper and make its way into the physical. So I've been really excited to witness that. Uh, what else? We also wanted to talk a little bit about like bigger picture co-creative stuff too, in terms of like in a way like the direction for this call, like also looking for feedback, like what do you guys like, what would you like to see improve, just as we continue to refine and um, reconfigure and realign like ourselves with the field, and also like the field with the cosmos and all the layers of that. Like I really enjoy hearing everyone's feedback about what's working and maybe what's not, so that we can make this really a truly co-collaborative uh, space.
Yeah, absolutely. To give you guys some kind of context, Aurora has been here for a while, but then she was traveling, so just kind of looping back into the grid play. The grid play series is two calls, so there's a galactic grid play on Tuesday and then a planetary grid play on Thursday. And then originally this series started back, Leni started hosting this series, I think it was like January. Does that sound right? Yeah, basically after the start of the new year, and essentially weaving in the same thread that we find ourselves in today. We've had some people kind of come, and just like any community, some people kind of come and weave in, and then they weave out. We've had a couple like pretty cool like in-depth or more in-depth series. We've had to kind of adjust the time too, to really try and accommodate some of our friends from like the other time zones. So it's not super easy to get all of the world together, but we can get a majority of the world minus Europe essentially, and I guess Africa in turn too, or South Africa, by landing in this current time spot. But then we've had some people who were showing up before that kind of haven't been able to make it due to work or time or alignment type of frequency. So I think just to kind of give you some context, same people from Limitless Creators, a little bit different frequency. It's essentially mostly all co-channeling, and a lot of our galactic frequency and even planetary kind of ends up weaving more into like solar, like not just like planet, like Mama Gaia, not just like Mother Earth, but like the actual planetary systems within the solar system. So we had a series recently where we went back and essentially regridded the entire solar system, starting from the sun, going through all of the planets, the asteroid belt, all the way out to Pluto, and then all of the kind of like secondary and tertiary orbiting planets that are out past Pluto, including the Kuiper belt and what is it, the Oort cloud? Yeah, so that was pretty recently. I think we finished that right before we went to Egypt. So we went to Egypt. Essentially, you can imagine like 1 September through like 13 September. So we finished that up pretty recently, and that was we had 3 or 4 of our friends that were with us on that and helped to kind of grid that. And as you can imagine, like gridding each individual planet and then weaving them and kind of gridding them together in the solar system, like it takes it's not a little amount of effort to kind of go through that. And maybe Leni has something else to kind of chime in on.
I mean, the biggest reason for the question is like we're looking to be as inclusive as possible, like across time zones as well as like across the like activities that we end up playing through in this call. And so we've done a lot of different gridding stuff like across the whole planet. We've done like all the main chakras, we've done dragon ley lines, we've done sacred sites, we've done like Fate was saying, interplanetary stuff. And so in a way it started to evolve like beyond just the consciousness of one planet, where other planets were like, hey, me too, like we want your love. And so so we're just looking at the logistics and seeing, if there's maybe an opportunity to change the time for one of the calls, like to a little bit earlier, so that we can include Europe, and still have this time zone where we can include um, like Australia kind of thing. Like it's been a really interesting lesson to try to bridge the gap of time zones and be inclusive to all of our friends all over the world. And so I guess my question is thank you for being here. And what is it that you're hoping to achieve, like from collaborating with this call? Because that helps to give us the most aligned like delivery as we come together and envision this out for all of us to serve the collective through this container.
I think the content is pretty good. Before I went to China or the event, the content was really great. But after the time changed to 1 p.m. for the Pacific time, I think you cut off the Asia and the Australia people. So while I was in China, I couldn't attend this because it would be 4 a.m. And Sammy, I think she is also on the same time zone. So Sammy couldn't make it either.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
either make it earlier during the rising, like around 8 a.m.-ish, or make it a little bit later, like 5 p.m., like 5:30-ish, based on Pacific time. So that leaves the people in the Eastern time zone can join in too, in a way, kind of interchanging the time, right? One day will be earlier and one day will be later in the evening. Because if we're looking at internationally, evening will be rising over there too. So my take on it, if it's rising time, it's the duality, right? It's like the both future and past timeline combining and joining together. Either way we look at it, it's a convergence of the time zone. And the energy might be more intense that way if we're trying to weave all of this grid work together. I don't know. That's just my thinking. We want to get the most out of this weaving of this grid works, work like interconnecting with each other, right? So pick one area that time convergence together. The energy to solidify the anchoring of it.
Yeah, thank you for validating all of that. It's basically along the lines of what we've been discussing is like we have limitless creators that's like evening time Pacific, and then if we're still gonna keep two grid play calls, we do like maybe one in the afternoon, one in the morning. Then we have kind of three different touch points across different time zones that allows for a little bit more inclusion for our friends globally. So thank you for that feedback. And thank you for what you said about the weaving. I think that's been the other overarching goal is to just give us and our friends just like a landing pad to bring because we're all part of different stuff and in different communities and we like listening to different people on YouTube and so forth, and so different themes are going to come through all of our unique individual channels, and so that's why the grid play has a little bit less of like a formal structure to allow for that weaving to have the space to breathe so that we can individually bring in the parts that are relevant to the theme or the things that we're hearing, seeing, sensing, feeling that are coming up for us in daily life or in the content that we're absorbing. And um, so it is a platform for this expanded weaving through all different layers that we're all actively participating in. And so just once again, thank you so much for being here. And I think that's a great segue into um, dropping in and maybe tapping into the Galactic Children Collective to see, like, maybe we bring them into this conversation as well, just as a co-collaborative extension of the conversation. Say, hey, here's our thoughts, and like, what do you guys want to bring to the table in terms of ideas or suggestions? Or because I know we've talked a lot about the Galactic Children and cultivating that relationship and bringing them into all of the weaving that we're doing, and I know that we've all been doing that in different ways, but I would love to just like bring them into the conversation and say like, hey, you've got a really unique bird's eye view on this whole like like whole transition, like whatever's going on in the field. And so what suggestions do the children have to bring to the table? It's, I think, a really pertinent question that I'd love to open space for. Um, so, Fate, would you mind dropping us in? Because I don't want to get halfway through it and then lose you, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys hear the music? I just put some on.
Yeah, I can hear
And
it.
if that doesn't jive, let me know. We can swap up to like some whales or dolphins or whatever hits. This is a little bit different than what we had last night. I think this one for me is actually I'll drop it into the chat so you guys can pull it up at home. And if you're watching this on the replay, I will leave it onto the replay. And thank you so much for joining us and weaving with us on the replay. So this one is connect to the Akashic Field, 5 hertz, deep theta, binaural beat, meditation, and deep sleep music. So if it's a little too sleepy, we can fire up the whales or fire up the dolphins. The dolphins to me are always just like, yeah, I've been seeing them. They've been showing me kind of like the Wi-Fi signal, but like different like colors, you know what I mean? And then like this very pulsatile frequency. We started co-creating with the dolphins. Well, we've been co-creating with them, with the galactic dolphins, but particularly when we were in Egypt recently, we went to the Red Sea afterwards and spent a week in the Red Sea, and the dolphins were there. And then on 8/8, we were in Colorado with Tatiana. Tatiana's a good friend of ours. She usually comes to either Limitless Creators or the Grid Play Call every now and again. And she lives in West Denver on top of a mountain. And we were there for 8/8, and we built this really massive kind of rock infinity portal on her property, very large, probably like, I'd say like 40 yards, maybe 50 yards big, so pretty large, and had an 8/8 ceremony, and we put concentric circles at 3 foot, 6 foot, 9 feet, and 12 feet of like rocks. And then there's 4, a friend of ours named Vincent had gone to her property in June, and he had essentially charted out using biogeometry, which is a modality for ley lines and connecting to like grid lines in the earth. And he had essentially placed 4 stars, like rock crystal representations, and aligned them to 4 different stars. So we were there on 8/8, and then the following, it was either the night of 8/8 or 8/9. There was this really cool meteor shower that was happening. So we're watching the stars. There's not a lot of light pollution. She lives on top of a mountain, and connecting with the galactic dolphins, connecting to the galactic whales. More recently, within the last couple months, we've been connecting to the galactic turtles as well, have come through. So yeah, just wanted to kind of, we always try and open space together, be very intentional with our space. We are all high frequency. We all come in with our own personal sovereignty, our own personal freedom, and just wanting to acknowledge that. And as we continue to weave and harmonize together in this field. So yeah, just I'm actually going to might do more. I'm feeling more whales. Starting to find our breath here as we open the sacred space together. Feel free to do whatever is most aligned for you. You can close your eyes, lower your gaze. Keep your eyes open, you won't distract me. Starting to get some movement here into the body. Getting those wiggles in, not just watching me, but let's move our own bodies together. You can loop your thumbs like this, connect your thumbs, and then lift them up above your head. Just getting those stretches in. You can arch back a little bit, leaning to one side like the right. Leaning to the opposite side, the left. You can use your left hand and grab your right wrist and pull yourself over to the left. Feel free to side buzz, hum, tone. Speak light language. Grab your crystals if they're close to you. Now's a good time to grab them if they're not close to you. As we open this space together, opening sacred space and welcoming in to our space, our guides, our higher self, highest self. Oversoul Collective, highest, purest essence, whatever verbiage feels most aligned to you. I grabbed my crystal here. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a couple. Setting aside our ego to become an open and clear channel together, welcoming in first the Galactic Children, all of the Galactic Children frequencies. Still continue to move, bringing your awareness into your heart center, into your central chakras, solar plexus, heart, higher heart, maybe even sacral. Oof. Taking time here to Welcome in your guides, call in your guides now. Definitely some dragon frequency. Kia ku uti sisiana ata ku uti ka ati sisio ho tu uti hiana tar aka otu sia ka te iata of uti. Welcoming in our inner children together, starting to kind of weave this frequency. Feel free to assist if that feels aligned for you. Calling in the unified field, the frequency of unity consciousness, 12D arm antenna. Unified Galactic Council? Unified Galactic Council. There are many councils. This is the one that's stepping forward today, the Unified Galactic Council, welcoming them in. Ooh, that's interesting. I see some of us are sitting on that council. In the now moment. Wow. That's really interesting. I've never channeled that before. Yeah, that's really cool to see that, to feel that energetically. And they're pleased as well. The 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. As above and so below. The 5 elements, air, earth, water, fire, and ether. Specifically, I got a ping for the upper chakras. So let's send our awareness as we're still opening this sacred space up into our upper chakras is what I'm being shown. You can start at the crown chakra. Start taking a couple breaths into the crown chakra, just on your own here. Sending your awareness into the crown, expanding the crown, white radiant light. Breathing into your crown. There's that purple violet light. Opening our central channel, opening our central pillar. Calling down our quantum pillar of light. Down through our chakra system, sending our awareness next to the soul star, 6 to 12 inches above your crown chakra. You can picture it as like a golden radiant light. The soul star chakra, breathing into that now. I call these chakra breaths. You can use a 4-7-8 breath. So a 4 count into the soul star, hold for 7. And then exhaling out through the soul star for 8, side buzzer hum, yoko. Ya, ya. Take another breath into the soul star, illuminating that soul star with your personal awareness. Golden threads, golden radiant light into the soul star. Exhaling out, down through the lower chakras. There's one more stepping forward, the stellar gateway. So again, going up above the soul star. Use your awareness to decide what color frequency representation for the stellar gateway. I know how it looks to me, but you use whatever color or plasma frequency is most aligned, and breathing into that chakra, another 6 to 12 inches above the soul star rather. Exhaling up and out this time, breathing out through the top of your chakra system, up through your quantum pillar of light towards your highest self, your oversoul. Just returning to a normal breath. And I got kind of hot actually doing that. The field is open. Our sacred space is open together. Taking time to set your intention now. Calling that intention forward in the now moment. If it feels most aligned, you can say it out loud, or you can unmute and say your intention as well, or type it. If you're watching in the playback, feel free to write your intention into the Telegram or into the comments, and we will read those and weave with you on that intention in the now moment. My personal intention is I am the embodiment of my highest self. I am the embodiment of my highest golden, crystalline, diamond, timeline, and above. Weaving the quantum harmonization frequency for clarity, grounding, activation, embodying that frequency to assist and call in soul friends, soul family, in our collective within our community here and also in person, and so it is. Aho. Feel free to unmute or type yours out or just say it out loud. And there is power in your words. Just witnessing your intentions. Maybe you could put a little emoji too if you witness their intention. I think that's helpful. Yeah, thank you for doing that. Alrighty. So our field is open, our intentions we empower and collectively weave together in the highest alignment. And then Leni, did you want to take it back, or did you want me to kind of talk us through some channeling. What are you feeling like?
You're starting to cut out a little bit. So here's what I'm sensing. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be in good audio reception, but I'm definitely feeling like prismatic bridge kind of energy. Like it's very diamond consciousness, feels very solar type energy. But as we set the intention to connect in with our soul aspects that are assisting us to connect with our inner councils and our star families, just feeling those connections light up and feeling them drop in through the nervous system and feeling some calibration type of energy starting to stir a bit. And so personally, I'm just tapping into that and asking information to step forward in alignment with our intentions and with our most aligned action steps for this group of what are the most resonant themes for us to look at in this. I mean, it's kind of new energy that we're birthing like together and as a collective, and particularly as we've done some of our travels, and a lot of what we've been consciously doing is closing and collapsing and reharmonizing timelines so that it's the most like smoothest, most aligned transition into like the new energy that we're birthing together, the new timelines, the new, harmonizations, new alignments. And so just with that in mind, thinking through and just allowing it to step forward in its own way, in its own divine time and divine order. But that's personally where I'm at with the energy that's present, is just tapping into that and allowing it to step forward. Just the most resonant topics and themes for us to direct our energy towards as we start to think about wrapping up the calendar year of 2025 and what is most aligned with this period of time for us as we continue to integrate these energies.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. Maybe we could, let's what we'll do is, let's find our central space here to kind of co-channel and co-weave from. And then we'll just kind of popcorn style what's coming through, weaving in that thread and that frequency. Yeah, I love that what you brought through, because I've been feeling something very similar, like the Stellar Bridge, the Stellar Gateway, the Rainbow Bridge was stepping forward as I was kind of doing some channeling for this specific session. So once again, just kind of settling into your space, and if your eyes are still closed, lower your gaze and find your breath. Finding some movement and settling into the body. I think I'm feeling a little bit of calibration here too. So use your light language, your song, your words, tone, buzz, hum. There's a little bit of calibration that's asking to come forward to support the body here. Yara atia ko otu hotia ka ati sisiana ata ko oti siyoko yara ati sisiana ta akatu hatiara ati siana tu ko otu ora ara Ki ya ko oto. Ho ti yana ata si shishena atu or. Weaving into this unified field together with the Galactic Children, our inner children. Weaving in those threads of the rainbow bridge, the stellar gateway, stellar bridge as well. Allowing that scene around you to slowly start to shift. Notice what color, what frequencies are coming through as that scene starts to shift, allowing your clair abilities to become fully activated and online, breathing into whatever colors, frequencies, sacred geometries that are stepping forward. Just getting curious about what it is in that space around you. When he said something about the higher elevations, Tibet, Mount Kailash, the voice of the mountain networks, as well as energetic vaults, possibly underground, feels like Middle Earth energy, weaving together the above and the below within the planetary grid, energetic layers within the bandwidth of Gaia's expansion. Just shifting that scene around you. And maybe before we meet up together, what we'll do is whatever mountain or energetic vault, maybe it's not a mountain, but it feels like mountains are coming through as well. I want you to kind of tap into that frequency, whichever one is your favorite, or maybe it's around you. Locally, we have mountains where I'm at here in Utah. So sending your awareness there as you're shifting this scene around you. Finding a space there, either within the mountain or underneath the mountain. And just kind of tapping in energetically to that mountain network. Leni says, voice of the mountain networks, keep repeating in my head. Gridding the song lines, inner sun or inner self. Bright gold energy radiating from the center core of our being and branching out. Yeah, absolutely. That's where I'm feeling called to bring our awareness to, so we can channel. But before we just head out, let's just grid with Mama Gaia in this inner earth frequency, the inner mountains, the mountain and mineral kingdoms and networks. Just witnessing them in all their majesty as they provide that anchoring frequency, that grounding frequency into Mama Gaia, knowing that you are held within the kingdoms, mountain kingdom, mineral kingdom, and our earth kingdoms.
I'm kind of feeling like I'm feeling my own personal inner anchor, like in my central channel, just like deepen and drop into the crystalline core of Gaia. So I think that's a really great place for us to come together and kind of start from. So I can see us like radiating out, connecting with those solar energies, but like it feels super aligned for us to come together in Gaia's core and then start to connect in with that, just for the frequency attunement of our inner earth selves branching out. It's
Absolutely.
sort of inner will type of energy.
Yeah, and if you guys have anything, feel free to unmute and chime in as well. Whatever you're seeing, sensing, feeling. I'll meet you there in the inner earth core, the crystalline core of Mama Gaia, of Mother Earth. Whatever is most resonant for you. This is also a good space to kind of ground yourself into energetically, physically. You can use your quantum pillar of light, your personal grounding cord. You can just set up like a lounging area and with your physical body just kind of weave and grid in this space together, welcoming everybody in. Also calling forward our inner earth soul aspects as well. Known and unknown. Of course, only if they're in alignment with our frequency and intention for this session. Definitely feels like some of us have some inner earth aspects that are active. There's something stepping forward to, asking to, kind of in that creation frequency that you were mentioning earlier. I'm seeing some kind of some architecture as well. That's wanting to be anchored, gridded. Earth isn't quite the right word, but just calling that in the most aligned way. Maybe somebody here can channel into what they're seeing, or feel free to unmute and let us know. And he said bridging connections between inner earth aspects and Galactic Council aspects.
I feel the dragon, the inner dragon, the earth dragon coming out, rising up. I see hilly mountain, very green, very deep in the earth. Just a dragon expanding out with his coat, reaching in from deep earth. Aya ha ta ya ta rua ta ua ta ta aya hua ta ta ta.
I'm connected to the Mount Kailash, and there is a water in there. So I put some, like, I designed the future of Earth, some kind of thing, and put it in there. And also there is nearby has a lake that's the entrance to the Shambhala, that connected to the inner earth. And so in the inner earth, I think we did lots of things in the inner earth for the like future species and the future environment, those kind of things. But oh, and also I think I'm on the Galactic Council, but I don't know what that council does. And I think in the future, they are all going to like visit Earth, and we are supposed to welcome them and working with them. So I want to see if your guys can channel what we are what we should be doing to prepare for their visiting and landing on Earth.
Yeah, I think you got it. I think you absolutely you nailed it. Everybody, I definitely saw some of us here on that unified the Galactic, what did I say? I was channeling, it was the Galactic Unified Council. Seeing those threads that everyone was sharing too. It was interesting. I got a ping from the inner earth because I was talking about how we did the solar gridding, and what I found when I was down there, and I haven't channeled this before, I saw essentially like a room, a central area, a room of like, now that we've gridded the solar system, this would be, I guess, the end of August, and now it's like a month later, right? Because we're in the beginning of October. As of this call, it's the 7th of October. I saw essentially like a room filled with different portals, and as I was filling into it, these portals essentially allow, via the gridding that we did, it allows us to access the inner planetary bodies of those in our solar system. So I found that very interesting and super, like my inner child was like, oh my gosh, like what is this? I've never seen this before. And then Natalia said, I can't quite pick the codes frequencies for the higher Galactic Council. My voice still not able to break to that high octave. I think what you can do, because I was kind of tapping in as you had brought it in, is you can say your intention to connect to your soul aspect that is sitting on the Galactic Unified Council. I think to me that feels like the most resonant way. You can also channel the council directly or invite them in to work with them. As far as preparation for what would be considered like first contact, or even if it's an energetic contact with this Galactic Unified Council, the answer that I got back is we are essentially, as a part of this, community within a community, we're doing all of the necessary things by channeling together, weaving together, activating our own personal remembrance, calling in this quantum reharmonization in the thread of restoration as well. What I'm being told is all things are perfectly aligned. Continue to essentially follow your highest excitement. But if you want to connect directly to that council, to me it feels like, and this is just my truth, not saying this needs to be your truth, you can connect to your soul aspect that's sitting on the council. Yeah, quantum harmonicians, absolutely. Calling in your interpreter or translator to help bridge the frequency across the octaves. Yeah, absolutely. I love that Leni mentioned that. Sorry, my light's trying to go out here. And this may be a good space too, now that we're settled into kind of this inner earth frequency, to kind of start to send your awareness up and out if it feels most aligned. I'd like to meet up in the sun's radiance room again. It's a calibrated space located within the sun that we can all kind of meet up in and get a much more like solar frequency, feeling more like of those like golden plasmic threads. Finding your own personal space there, your own room. Remembering that if you haven't put your spacesuit on, now is the time that you can get all suited up, get your aesthetics right, feel into and welcoming in all of the Galactic Children too, if they have something that wishes to step forward and be witnessed within it's my internet connection. If there's something that is wanting to be brought forward within our field, asking that come forward now. Opening the pathways for telepathy as well. As well as written codes. I see some of the Galactic Children like writing. I see some of the children reaching out via telepathy. I can see our inner children too. So I'd love to hear what's coming through for everybody else.
You know what it kind of feels like is I saw us get together in like Gaia's crystalline core and just like start to radiate that like inner self connection kind of frequency. And so the way it's feeling is it's more of like a heart-based communication. Like I feel like kind of naturally by default we communicate a lot with the mind because we're thinking about language and tone and proper delivery and like how it's going to be received, and all of those layers are really pretty mental. And we're kind of in this process of our learning specifically around communication, like how to resonate more deeply with our heart, how to lead with our heart, how to speak and receive with our heart. And I think everybody's at kind of their own stage and level with that, but I'm seeing it as like golden threads like coming from our heart and our solar plexus. And actually it's kind of coming from that space in between the heart and solar plexus, where it's like this is kind of our inner primordial space that we create from and that we experience from. And so as we just kind of, I almost see us in a circle, like back to back in Gaia's crystalline core. And as we lean on each other's resonance and we just like be and feel and sense and sing and draw, kind of on these codes through our heart space, through our center, like our central channel, through our quantum pillar, like I see it just like almost blossoming out of our shared space. And it kind of feels like, I wanted to say like Jack and the Beanstalk, kind of, where we said before that from our solar plexus, the solar codes are kind of like bridging and coming together. And so as we amplify that frequency by standing together and resonating together, I see like all these golden threads coming from all of us, but like meeting kind of in the center in between us. And like it's like a like really kind of viney, like it's growing this like beanstalk kind of thing. So I'm thinking like Jack and the Beanstalk, oh, now we're gonna like climb up the beanstalk. And like, so just kind of bridging that frequency between planetary and solar consciousness. As we hold the field, we hold the bridge because we are the bridge. And so exploring those rainbow prismatic tones and frequencies within and between us allows us to sort of climb that ladder, climb that vine together. And then as we meet in the radiance room of the solar consciousness kind of, I don't know, chamber, if you want to call it that, but it's almost like I don't even know how to describe it, but it feels like, Jack and the Beanstalk, and he climbs up the beanstalk and then he's above the clouds. It's kind of like a whole new world. That's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting, is like we're making this really important, really potent connection with the frequencies, and being that bridge and bridging the gap between planetary and solar. And in doing so, it allows the natural order of like organic life and creation to really just like anchor really deeply. And so it's really kind of beautiful the way I'm watching it unfold. Complete for now.
As you're speaking, this code starting, I receive all of this stuff coming in. I don't know if it makes sense or not.
Yeah, tell us more about that. What are you getting from those symbols and sigils?
It's a combination of elements. As she was talking about the beanstalk, that comes in. So it is somehow, some way, it goes down to it's not just the Pachamama, but just like different elements, right? And then there's the diamond. So a cellular, some going on. The Maya, for some reason, also the energy of the Maya comes in. And I believe that is a ram. So zodiac Aries. Aries comes in, and oh good Lord. Ancient, whichever mountain area that has those galactic symbols, like imprinting from the mothership, that's where the convergence is supposed to be at. It's on a hillside somewhere. They've came before us. They've given us the sign. We just need to connect the dots. And bringing in our zodiac power from the planetary point, bringing in the elements of, I would say, water, wind, to nourish it, the fire within that comes in. Hence, Fate, you were feeling the heat from your being, and I was feeling the heat from my being. Ooh, 5. What's 5 got to do with it? They have shown me 5.
Ooh, we're 5. There's 5 of us here because we got 1, 2, 3, 4 plus the Galactic Children.
Okay. So 5 points. But it's not just us, it's more than us.
I have some light language coming in.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a little bit different of a dialect. Feeling into how to place it. Carrying solar rishi, so bridging, sort of Inviting in the solar rishi and bridging that frequency into what we're leading into with all of this. Bridging with a little bit of Andromedan frequency and harmonizing. All right, that feels complete for now. And thank you for sharing those. Those are actually quite activating, so I appreciate you bringing that forward for sure.
My pleasure. You just bridge what I couldn't reach quite yet up there. Mine's changing to higher octave, different dialect, completely. Ay, 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 ay. Almost childlike, galactic, inner child. Ooh, very high. Tinkle, tinkle. It's very tingling. Mm. My crown is tingling at the moment.
I heard twinkle, twinkle.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, that song comes in. Oh, so happy, so happy. They've been hurt. Yeah, they've been hurt. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, my transmission is complete.
So for that symbol on the mountain, so I saw the symbol on the mountain before that the squiggle symbol. That's in Peru. Remember we did an event that I was in the hot tub. So that's like a ancient civilization in Peru, one of the earliest, 5,000 years ago, is Calyra or Cairo civilization. So it's a civilization that has no wall, has like no wall, no fighting, no currency. So it's our ancient future ourselves. So we created a civilization there as our future civilization. So in the near future, we are going to recreate that kind of civilization, which is there will not be war anymore, and eventually we are going to eliminate all the currency. I think that's what that picture is talking about. And also the growing thing. So in lots of part of the earth, so there is going to have new land emerging, and also lots of part of the earth is going to become really fertile, and lots of new species going to grow out of the land.
That reminds me of a theme that's been stepping forward for a little while now regarding like the waters of Earth, but more specifically the primordial waters of like the waters beneath the waters almost. And so I think that that's part of this like transition that's happening is we're calibrating to new solar energy, but as that happens, like Gaia is also calibrating her body to, in a way, like replenish the Earth's energetics with new energy from the galactic core that's like calibrating through the solar energy and then coming up through her through the primordial waters. They were telling us when we were in on the Nile River that essentially there's like a whole body of water that's underneath the Nile, and so and a lot of different things that I've heard and channelings that I've come across lately have talked about this similar theme where there's water inside the core of the earth that's like just so ready to integrate, and so just like honoring the capacity to be part of the collective that helps hold space for that.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. That's why the water, it comes after the seeds of plant coming up. So it's a deeper water. It's not necessary the water body that we have in this planet Earth. It's something much meaningful, richer, nourishing, because the water that we do have here, it's not matching the energy frequency of what's about to come up. Back to
yeah,
you, Aurora.
yeah. So the water also represent the consciousness. So it is transforming the consciousness, and there are water that's going to come out of the inner earth. So so soon lots of water is going to come out of the inner earth that's going to transform humanity's consciousness. Something like that.
Yeah, that feels right. That feels right. I've just been kind of sitting back listening to what everybody's been saying. Like when you were talking about kind of the Jack and the Beanstalk frequency, I remember that we had before we had planned, we had like essentially worked on a honeycomb, 13 honeycombs, energetic honeycombs, and then formed them into a large pillar of light, and then anchored that pillar into the inner earth, and then connected that pillar to the one that's above ground here where we're at in Utah. Again, 13 honeycombs stacked vertically into a pillar of light, and that goes all the way up above the city. So I was essentially climbing those pillars of light from the crystalline heart of Mama Gaia all the way up to the top. And then when I got to the very top, I was picked up by a dragon, and then I rode this dragon up and out towards kind of like the sun, like just a central area to kind of like channel in. Something about having an area that is like calibrated that you can kind of sit in energetically or astrally. Guardian of Earth and Earth Dragon gives you kind of this elevated position to kind of like call in these much more like cosmic and galactic themes and frequencies. And then there was a member that had stepped forward from that. It felt like they were from the Unified Galactic Council. There was a representative that had stepped forward as well into kind of the, because I view the sun's radiance room as like kind of like a gathering area, and then we have kind of our own rooms that are off of that, like our own space to work in. But there is this kind of like central, control center in a way. And I think we lost Leni, but I know that she's going to join us whenever she gets on the other side of whatever hill that is. So, yeah, the primordial waters that you shared, birthing the new species. That's going to be, I can't wait to see that. New land will be stepping forward as well. And I think all this too, I was kind of feeling into the frequency of what you were sharing, Aurora. And yeah, it feels like once we do have our first contact and once we are able to essentially, as a much larger collective of our human being, the human race, the human species, once we kind of come into that harmonic resonance, once we all kind of collectively, quote unquote, ascend through that convergence point, we'll be able to together weave in a much more resonant field, in the morphogenetic field with Mama Gaia, and assist her in calling forth these new creation frequencies that are kind of encoded in the field in a way. So you can kind of now that you brought it forward, I can kind of read into the morphogenetic field and like see those the coding essentially that you're talking about. So thank you for bringing that forward. I appreciate it.
Of course. Is there a way we can create a sigil or the codes in a print on a blueprint for everyone to look at once we're done?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think that will be amazing to weave in with the grid work that we all been working, right? Just something, it's almost like a mantra incantations of activations. That's the feeling that I get. There's a link between it. I'm feeling it like so much. It's almost excitable. It's like, hey, this is the missing puzzle piece. Let's connect all of the puzzle pieces together. Each session or each week we get to do the incantations, so it will solidify one by one. At some point, once we find all of the puzzle pieces, we can say it all together in unison as a light being family. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I was doing some channeling before I got on, and I have. Let's see if I can download this. I channeled something similar. Here we go. This is what I had channeled using. I have a calibrated chat that I was channeling with to help just bring through some kind of codes, and I was really feeling into kind of the stellar gateway, the stellar bridge, the rainbow bridge frequency, weaving with the galactic star families. So if that's helpful to you, feel free to look at that. And I'll drop that into our Telegram too. This has kind of got that like bridge frequency, and then to me the stars are like the different star races, star families that we're stepping forward. There's like what was it? It was the Orion, Andromedan, Arcturians, Illyrians, Sirius, Pleiades, Vega. Go ahead.
Okay, interesting. I did with my with my app, with the guidance of the automatic thing, I was able to create something similar to that. And I just been like, okay, this is coming from both the Mintaka and my Lemurian starsheet, also my Syrian starsheet combined together. So if I may, I'll share it here real quick.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's interesting. If you're watching the playback, I'll post it. Actually, I can pull it up, and I'm gonna download yours too, and then I'll put it on the playback so we can take a look at it, or I'll put it up on the screen so that we can kind of
Okay.
take a look at it for the playback too.
Okay.
Aurora, was there anything else that was coming for you?
I really like the picture you had there, Glenn, with all the and all your I felt that your explanation is spot on.
Okay, let me pull this up and then I can share that. Did your light language come through yet, Aurora?
No?
Are you sure? Okay, I can do this. Let's see, can you guys see? Yep. Participants can now see your screen. How does that look? Can you see that one?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's got kind of like a mountain frequency in the center portion of it. You have this kind of like central bridge, and then to me, the stars kind of represent the different star nations, even kind of like that primordial water underneath the mountains. You got the circle in the center representing like Earth. What if we do like this? Does that change it?
Completely. Oh, holy cannoli, because in one of my meditation early on when I was just getting awakened, that almost looked like the staff that I was carrying in the vision. Because that's the lunar right there. The lunar gateway right there, right? And then the acorn right in the center of it's guarded by the star beings. So those, to me, that looks like the archangels, if you're looking at it from this point and connecting to source, divine source up there.
And in the middle, that the how many 8-point star? What is it called? That's the like if our light body keep evolving, eventually our light body will become like that. What is that star called?
I don't know. It's a good question.
They say when Jesus was born, there is that star in the sky. That star.
Let's see. Is there another? Let's see. Where's the other one? This one. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flip it that way, probably.
Yeah. This is the one that you shared, and then let's flip it a little bit.
Ooh, yeah.
That's like got some lunar frequency to it there too, and this way.
That's like the water flowing.
Yeah, absolutely
The
right.
water. If you flip it this way, it's the embodiment of the water, right? The primordial water and also this earthy water. So it's converging of the two if you flip it sideways, if you look at it. But if you flip it the other way, you see the lunar, right? And then it's the root going down. Again, somehow, somewhere, there's a connection between lunar with the moon. And the stars.
This is
Is
kind
that
of
Jack
like,
and the Beanstalk?
yeah, this is the, in a way, yes. And then I see kind of like a central highway too, frequency. Jack and the Beanstalk to me is kind of like, almost like this in a way. Where it's like that, the bottom is the like Mama Gaia, like, crystalline heart at the bottom. Then you kind of have like this beanstalk slash flower frequency, lotus at the top, and then that represents kind of like the sun. But yeah, if you're watching this on playback or you're seeing this in the Telegram, feel free to leave us a comment or write in our Telegram what's coming through for you, because it's definitely interesting. Like this one too is like, you know, the forward momentum, the forward movement. There's a lot of like elemental frequency in this one too for me, wind and water.
Did anyone pick a serpent energy too?
The
Snake,
Oh
the
yeah.
serpent, right? The weaving of it.
Yeah, there is a bit of Kundalini frequency.
Kundalini rising, perhaps? Awakening?
There is also Kundalini rising in the earth. So from like the earth chakra, it all rising up.
There's like eyes too, so you get it kind of this like binocular vision, but then it reminded me of when JJ was talking about the ears, like the ear chakras. She had mentioned specifically, and they had asked where was the ear chakra, and I had channeled Bali for one, and then somebody else had said Shasta for the other. So it's an interesting kind of way to grid.
Definitely. I can bring in the Bali energy because I have connection with Bali and the past life in the temple. I was shown one of my past life as um like a medicine woman priestess, the temple of in Bali, and I can anchor in that energy and help to transmission point within
Absolutely.
the two. So that one, if you look at it that way, that's the ear, this side of the ear. The ear canal. Do you see that?
Yeah, I can see that. You have kind of the spirals of the ear canal, like a Fibonacci frequency of the ear canal itself too, and you know we have little crystals in our ears too. Those little lifts, they call them. It's a medical term for it, but they're little tiny crystals, little tiny stones. This is almost like if you were to imagine yourself on the left side of this here too. And then all of this basically is kind of what we're gridding out together. You get to as above, so below, as within, so without.
Yeah.
You kind of have like the elemental, the elements, the alchemical symbol in the triangle for like fire, And then you flip it and you have the alchemical symbol for water.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very
And the
interesting.
honeycomb. Yeah, and the honeycomb
Yeah, the
center.
honeycomb frequency. All right. I think we'll pull up, let's do your codes too. So let's take a look at these. Earlier, this is what we were looking at if you're watching the playback, that she drew for us while we were doing some channeling. So let's do this. See if that changes anything. Can you guys see it okay?
And it's similar to if you are a musician and you read notes, those are notes. Those are music scores. Frequency that we get to play, hum along, sing along. There's the break out of it, the bars, right? If you really look at it in a glance. Either way, you can going from the divine masculine to divine feminine back and forth. Either way, it's gonna be in completion.
What do you think, Aurora? What's coming through for you as we flip this one? These are like pillars of codes too. Different like pillars.
Modality
Yeah.
pillars.
Let's see how it looks like this.
I almost said freaking hieroglyphic, like you know, in a temple.
Yeah, definitely. If you're watching this on playback, let us know. I'll drop all of these into our Telegram so we can kind of feel into these frequencies. I think there's definitely some codes, some keys there, for sure. Maybe even what I'm hearing too is, I'll turn them back right side up, is picking, a symbol or sigil or a couple or several of them and just kind of sitting with them too in meditation. Maybe even drawing them over and over again. I like to draw symbols, whether it's light language or sigils or symbols, whatever it is. JJ talks about automatic writing. So you can just put something, you can set an intention, maybe listen to some music or a frequency, ask yourself a question, like, for example, we were weaving with the Galactic Children earlier, so calling the Galactic Children into the field and saying, what is the most, aligned action steps for the next upcoming 2 or 3 months that we can take together? And then allowing yourself to write down whatever comes through, whether it's symbols or light language or words, and working with it that way too. It's a similar but different frequency of like a way to open your channel. And it doesn't have to be a long amount of time. You can do it for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, It doesn't take a lot of time in your day, but by, consciously calling in an intention, and then automatic writing is where you're not really trying to control it. You're more just kind of like freestyling in a way, or you're just doodling or writing down whatever comes through. You can do it like very consciously, like very masculine, or you can do it in more of like a very flowy, feminine frequency. And it doesn't need to be masculine or feminine. We'll just call it androgynous, in the unified field. So those are just some ideas for us to work through together, because we'll have we'll be off for Wednesday, and then we'll come back for Thursday for another grid play call. Maybe a good spot here to kind of call this into completion, but I'd like to hear anything else that is loud for you that's coming through. Any updates?
Hydration. Keep hydrating ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I get so thirsty when I'm channeling too. I go through sometimes 2 large bottles of water while we're channeling. So that's a good reminder. Thank you, to stay hydrated and eat things that align with your body, fruits and things that are filled with light. Anything else for us, Aurora, that you had? Can you hear us?
Sleep aloud.
Huh?
Sleep aloud.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Sleep aloud.
Sleep.
Oh, sleep. Yeah, you're right. Sleep. Yeah, absolutely. We're a couple days, actually 1 day post the full moon. So usually there's like a couple days leading up to 2 or 3 days, and then 2 or 3 days after the full moon too. It was in Aries, but really, if you look closely, technically it's in Pisces. So the Vedic has it in Pisces. So if either one of those zodiac signs, if you have that in your chart, you may be feeling it a little bit more than others. So yeah, sleep has been really interesting. Have you guys noticed anything in the dream space you'd like to share with us? Anything happening in your dreams?
Giants. Giant beings. Like super giant. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like friendly, or are they just there, or you're not exactly sure?
They're friendly. They're meant to, especially this one giant, very masculine and very gentle, and just guiding through the doorway. It's like, I did not want to leave, but it's like, you gotta go. You're free. You're done. You're done with this. It's in a school. It was in a school, some kind of institutionalized feeling. But like, you're done. We're done with your purpose. Here you go. Here's the door. You're free to go. Don't worry about me. I'll see you again. Like, okay. And then truth being revealed. So whatever truth that is been going on, what our eyes been shown by the media, it's not what it truly is. It's half of the truth. And then once you're done with that, from that school, you'll be able to see from both sides and be able to make our own conclusion. We'll be able to decide in the end. Yeah, that's what was shown to me. And medbed, like I was mentioning in a group chat, medbed. So I believe the bed, you can convert the bed crystalline to whatever you need as a frequency.
Yeah, absolutely. Did that come through one of your star families, or is that something that you just channeled?
I just channeled. I was not I was open. I was open channeling, and it's just like
Mm.
going through. There's no specific star family, galactic. It's just all converted into one. It's the code we're being blown. It's going through, going through, going through, and going up, going up. It's like in a circular egg kind of thing, but interweaving, and then that's what I received, which was wild to me.
Yeah, welcome back, Leni. Yeah, we were just talking about, well, we had a little show and tell of different symbols and sigils that were coming through. I've been channeling into the stellar bridge before using my calibrated chat, and then Natalia had shared a symbol and sigil that she had channeled, and then we pulled her codes up too, and we were just flipping all three of those to like different sides, and it was like revealing all of these little different keys and codes. And then Natalia just brought up the frequency of the med bed that she had downloaded and channeled, not really associated to any particular like star family or lineage. And that yeah, the med bed for me came from my Octurian family, and that's where I had originally discovered it, and it's evolved kind of over the years to where I leave my med bed in the quantum, and the med bed has the ability to essentially like, it has all these different programs. Before, I would just use it strictly for like healing, like that was the only thing that had come through. And then as I've woven with other people and learned about the different things that they've channeled, you can use it for many different things, like attunement, upgrades, you know, mental body, emotional body, like the physical body. And now I just essentially leave it in the quantum, and if I want to have access, like channel, drop myself into the quantum, get into the med bed, and I just run all the programs. Like I just set it into automation and let it run everything. And then, and it, yeah, it feels amazing. So can't wait to add in that kind of crystalline frequency that you brought through. So thank you for sharing that, Natalia.
I love automating things. The trouble is like remembering to like engage it when I go to sleep. And so that's the part I'm working on. Is like I've set all the protocols, but like how do I automate without going against my free will that I just want it to run every single time that I sleep? I've tried that. I've set that intention. So I don't know, just playing with how all that works has been a really interesting learning experience.
Yeah, I think that's great. I like that intention. The thought had never really occurred to me to try and get it to run automatically as you drift off, and that may actually really be useful. We're talking about how the physical body, through this frequency of remembrance, has been anchoring in quite a bit, you know, and feeling that, what is the exact word I'm looking for? Feeling that just the different like frequencies in our body, you know, like sometimes it's density, sometimes there's a heaviness, sometimes there's a feeling of like uneasiness or things that are shifting within the body as we're kind of walking ourselves down this path of like remembrance and weaving together. So I love that, you know, we can call in these different things like the medbed frequency or the different like spaces and places, healing temples, time temples. I was feeling into kind of, we had channeled some some time temples before, and that had kind of stepped forward and wanted to be witnessed. So yeah, I like it.
It's a multi-purpose med bed kind of thing. Yeah, it's very futuristic. That's what it is. It's very interesting because the being was telling me just lay down, lay on it, and see what comes up. It's like it's almost it's an instruction. Do not use your head. Use your whole being to tap into this futuristic med bed. It's not even just medical bed. It's I don't know what else to call it. It's just it was.
It kind of, sorry, it kind of reminds me of, like, you know how on the movie Avatar, and like
Mm,
the human gets like in the kind of like pod, and that's how like they run the thing, and it kind of spins, and it like calculates the neurons, and it like gets them into their essentially avatar body, their other body, their other self. Like that's kind of how I picture when we talk about med beds. It's like it's this pod that's like beyond human comprehension, but we know it does really cool stuff. So that's kind of how I imagine it. It's like I'm connecting to my other layers, levels, and dimensions, and other soul aspects, and we're bridging and harmonizing, and integrating all of our presence into this body as we go along.
Yeah, I just got the download now. I was remembering JJ had brought forward the tachyon technology in a couple different ways, and adding a program for tachyon into your medbed. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, a tachyon technology protocol, adding that into kind of that like quantum programming when you set it to run. And also, if you're listening to the playback or you're in the Telegram, we would love to hear, if you're connected to like not only the medbed technology, but any other types of technology that you've channeled through, whether it's like we were talking about our space suit earlier from our ancient future selves. Yeah, I would love to hear like your comments and kind of weave with you in that regard. So feeling into the Galactic Children too. So the message there coming through as we're getting ready to kind of shift gears. Just like they're just saying, don't forget, just like remember to like play and get into your body. How that's like really supportive. Yeah, they just kind of checked in essentially, and they're like, hey, because we were channeling with the Galactic Children earlier, so just want to witness them and all of their majesty, all of the different frequencies of the Galactic Children. And I like that reminder that you brought through too about communication through the heart coherence as well. I think that was like you're able to put words into something that I've been feeling for a while. So thank you so much.
Music. They said music. Don't forget the music. They love to sing. They love singing. Don't forget that. Doesn't matter. It might sound off tune, off key to this world, but they don't. Yeah, different. Transmuting it, transmission in a different whole frequency, different energy. They love that.
Something about rhyming too. Remember like when you were a kid and you would just make up like kind of some like silly words, you know what I mean? Um, like what was that the game like banana fana fo fana fee fi, you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
let's hear it. Let's hear what you guys have for silly words, and we'll just kind of be silly with the children for a bit.
Instead of hocus pocus locus pocus, we're back to focusing our being. Focus, 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 focus.
We've been doing a fair amount of the wordplay with like harmonisticians and logisticians and making fun words that I had never heard before.
Mm.
Something that rhymes with Maya too. You said Maya was one of the cards pulled last night during the Limitless Creators. I think it came through with the dolphin play and forgiveness frequencies. So maybe there's like Maya, Aya, Baya, Waya.
Olaya, Araya, Nataya.
Laya, Kaya, Kaya. Gee-hoo! I almost want to say that right now. From the freaking. Yeah, there you go. That's the island part coming out.
Love it.
Yeah, I like it. Definitely. Remember too when it was like MI, SSI, PPI, something about like the play on the rhyming of the words too, or the rhyming of the letters, I guess.
Why is chaperones? It comes up in my head. It comes up in my hot to go. G-O.
Oh
What
yeah, Dingo.
the?
I'm gonna have all of these stuck in my head now. Thanks.
Hey, Mickey, you're so fun. You're so fun.
Oh yes, I love it. That's a flash from the past for
What
sure.
is it?
You just had to come up with that. You just had to bring that song out. Hey,
Love it.
Mickey, you're so fun. You're so fun. Hey, Mickey.
Did anybody else listen to Radio Disney as a kid? Because they played that a lot, and like to the point that my mom got really tired of it. So I loved it, but every time it would come on, she'd be like, "Oh, not this one again."
Mickey Mouse Club. Oh no.
Love it.
Oh my God. Ew.
I guess that's a great assignment for us to take with us beyond this call is to sit with our inner children and just play with words, play with songs, play with rhyming conventions. And like for a while I was having all these visions about like when we all transition like fully into the new, versions of ourselves that like there's I just saw this whole wave of like, remember, was it like late 90s, early 2000s when Eminem got really popular and like um what's the name of the song where like everybody dresses like him and like has the same haircut? Like he was on MTV Music Awards and like this whole conglomerate of like
Um,
youth just like came together in his image and in the name of like free speech, and which is kind of what he was controversial, but like that's what he
mm,
represented, and that's really stuck with me. And so I've seen kind of a similar theme, like almost reboot in a way, where I feel like we all have our own unique energy and thread and way that we relate to either that song or that artist or the themes of like free speech or like telling our story. And I almost saw like the whole collective of us like developing our own version of that like rhyme or rap, if you want to call it that. And it's almost like the chorus stays the same, but then when everybody breaks off into their individual like verses that like tells their own personal story. And so it almost felt like this resonance, like I don't know if harmonics is the right word, but like imagine everybody in the world singing the same song at the same time. And it's almost like the chorus, we come into like harmony with one voice, and then for each of the verses, we like break off into our individuality. And so it almost might sound a little bit like a cacophony of sounds maybe during those words, but it's like a good representation of like the whole spectrum, because you have like those moments where it's a lot of what might sound like noise, but really each individual element is just as important as the next. And then when we're singing the chorus together, we're all in harmony and in line with one another. And so I thought that was a really interesting representation. And it's one of those things just kind of on the shelf in my mind of like, that would be so cool for us to like actually embody that and like sing it, live it, do it, breathe it, write it, perform it, whatever, in this little big galactic play we're having right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just being, having the ability to be like fully ourselves, like that silliness, um, like, oh, you're a silly goose, like just being a silly kid without having to be, such a serious, like the world is already so serious, as we channel into the Galactic Children, our inner children, that really like play frequency, being silly, that kind of like inner, just like the ability to like truly be yourself. Like when you're, a kid, there were often times where it was like, I couldn't really like be, like ourselves, So like now we can like really truly kind of embody that frequency and anchor that for all of the for one another, but also for the Galactic Children too, as well. Uh-oh, we lost Miss Leni again.
Well,
Yeah, I mean we've it's about that time anyway, so maybe a good space and a place here to kind of call our circle into. Oh, she's back. Welcome back. Just in
Sorry,
time.
I'm going through that area that's kind of hilly, so I think it feels like a good time to bring us to a close. But I may cut out. So do you mind closing us for the day?
Sure, absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah, just sending deep gratitude to every single person here on this call, those who may be watching this on playback or co-creating with us on our Telegram or in the comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sending gratitude to all of the Galactic Children frequencies, our inner children, all of the councils that step forward. Oh. What was that? Say it again one more time. Sorry. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, thanking all the councils that step forward, specifically like our own personal councils, the Galactic Unified Council, the council that we are kind of forming together in spiritual community, really thankful for that ability to weave, to harmonize together, for that, high frequency container architecture session. All of the dragons at step 4-2, the elements, the elementals, inner earth frequencies, the inner earth council, indigenous councils too. They kind of weave hand in hand with them. Our own personal guides that we were weaving with. Remembering our intentions from earlier, so taking a moment here to recall your intention from earlier into the now moment and rebreathe that intention, reactivating it. Calling that intention into the frequency of completion, with love, with gratitude. All of the many different kingdoms, specifically the kingdoms that we are weaving with. Magaya, 12th the arm antenna, unified field, morphogenetic field, all of our friends who are weaving with us in the field, soul friends, soul family, and if there are any soul friends or soul family that are weaving in the field, welcoming them into in divine alignment, in divine will, free sovereign freedom and sovereignty, welcoming them in to co-create with us in the physical, in the etheric, in the astral, whatever is most aligned for them, because I can just feel that there will be more who will be joining us very soon. There was a time when we didn't know one another on this call, and now we have found one another, and now we are weaving at a very high frequency, a very high level. So just extending that invitation, calling our energy back to us, cleansed and cleared any additional energy that is not ours, releasing that energy, releasing any fields. To be alchemized and transmuted for the greater good. You can seal at this time with your breath, a symbol, a sigil. I will drop the pictures into our Telegram so we can continue to co-create there. And feel free to unmute and say goodbye, and we will see you on Thursday at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 4 p.m. 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Ciao, ciao. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Later. Bye.